I trusted her with everything, my secrets, my fears, my deepest thoughts. She was more than a friend. She was my sister by choice. We met in college. We were inseparable, laughing until midnight, planning vacations, even sharing clothes. And when I got married, she stood right beside me as my maid of honor. I remember her speech at the wedding. She said, "You two are the perfect couple. I've never seen love like this." And everyone clapped, and I cried because it felt real. It felt honest, but it wasn't. Because behind that smile, behind that dress, behind the glitter and the toast, was betrayal. A secret that had been living in the shadows of my marriage for 3 whole years. It started with little things, whispers that stopped when I entered the room. "Just work stress," he'd say, or, "You're imagining it." I believed him. Because why wouldn't I? He was my husband. She was my best friend. My 2 safe places. The 2 people who swore they loved me. But one night, everything unraveled. It was late. He was in the shower. His phone lit up. I never looked through his messages, ever. But something, a gut feeling, told me to check. And there it was. A message from her. "Can't stop thinking about last night. I still feel you on my skin." I froze. I read it again, and again, until my eyes blurred. I wanted to scream. I wanted it to be fake, a joke. But then, he walked out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, hair dripping, and he saw the phone in my hand. He looked at me, and I knew. There was no panic, no fake confusion, just silence, the kind of silence that confirms everything. I said nothing. I didn't have to. I handed him the phone. He looked down, swallowed hard, and whispered, "It's not what you think." But it was. It was exactly what I thought. And worse. I locked myself in the bedroom. He slept on the couch that night. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just stared at the ceiling, trying to breathe. The next morning, I called her. My best friend. The one I had trusted with every piece of my life. She answered like nothing was wrong. "Hey, babe, what's up?" My voice cracked. "How long?" She went silent, dead silent. Then she said, "It wasn't supposed to happen like this." Like this? Like what? Like me finding out by accident? I demanded answers. And she gave them. Like she was reading a confession off a script. "It started during your 2nd anniversary. We got drunk. It was one time. Then it just kept happening. 3 years. 3 years. They kept it from me. While we took couple trips. While she held my hand during hard times. While I cried on her shoulder about his distance. She was the reason for it. I asked her one thing. Did you ever feel guilty? She didn't answer. And that silence hurt more than anything. I hung up. And this time, I did cry. I collapsed to the floor and screamed into a pillow. Because betrayal like that doesn't just break your heart, it rips out your identity. I didn't know who I was anymore. A wife? A friend? A fool? Everything I believed in shattered. The next few days felt like I was living inside someone else's nightmare. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, could barely hold a conversation without breaking down. My husband kept trying to talk. He said he was sorry, said it just happened, said he loved us both in different ways. That sentence broke me all over again. Loved us both? How do you love 2 people and lie to one for 3 years? How do you come home, kiss your wife, and then text your wife's best friend you miss her? The gaslighting didn't stop either. He tried to blame me, said I was too focused on work, said I stopped trying, said maybe if I'd been more available, he wouldn't have needed her. I almost believed him. Almost. But then I remembered all the times I stayed late to cook his favorite dinner, all the surprise gifts, The nights I rubbed his shoulders when he was stressed. I gave him everything, and he still chose to betray me. So I left. I packed a bag, left the apartment, stayed at my sister's place. I needed space. To think, to breathe, to feel anything other than humiliation. But pain like that doesn't stay contained. It leaks into your skin, your bones, your voice. Even saying her name made me feel like I was choking. She reached out once more. Texted, "Please don't hate me. I never meant to hurt you." But she did. Every time she smiled in my face, every time she listened to me cry about him, every time she looked me in the eye and lied. She meant it. She just didn't think she'd get caught. And maybe that's the worst part. They didn't stop. They just ran out of ways to hide. People started finding out. Mutual friends, family. Some reached out with shock and sympathy. Others stayed quiet, afraid to pick sides. But there were no sides. There was only truth and betrayal. And I was the collateral damage between them. I tried to distract myself. Went back to work, smiled when I had to, pretended I was fine. But inside, I was drowning. Every room reminded me of them. The couch where we watched movies. The kitchen where she laughed while helping me bake. The guest room she used to crash in after girls' nights. Now I knew what those nights really were. I started therapy. Not because I was crazy, but because I didn't trust my own reality anymore. How could I? I missed every sign, ignored every instinct, believed every lie. My therapist told me something I'll never forget. She said, "You didn't fail to see the truth. You chose to see the best in people. And that's not weakness, that's love." That sentence saved me. Because for the first time, I stopped blaming myself. I wasn't naive. I was loyal. I wasn't blind. I was hopeful. And those are beautiful things, even when others abuse them. I started reclaiming my space, my name, my strength. I changed the locks, blocked them both, deleted every picture, not out of spite, but because I needed peace. And peace can't live where poison still lingers. Months passed. And slowly, I came back to life. Not all at once, but in pieces. One morning, I made coffee and actually tasted it. Another day, I caught myself laughing at a movie. The kind of laugh that feels like sunlight through cracked glass. And that's when I knew. I was healing. Not because they apologized. Not because they made things right. They never did. They moved on. They posted photos, smiles, new beginnings. But I didn't watch. I didn't need to. Because I wasn't in that story anymore. I had started writing a new one where I mattered, where I wasn't a second thought, where love didn't come laced with secrets. I still think about it sometimes. Not out of pain, but perspective. Because what they did, it didn't destroy me. It revealed me. It showed me that even in my darkest moments, I could rise. Even after betrayal, I could love again, starting with myself. And to anyone who's been through something like this, I want you to know, you are not weak. You are not stupid. You are not broken. You are human, and humans heal, even when the scars run deep. So thank you for hearing my story, for holding this pain with me. If this touched something in you, please like, share, and subscribe. Not for me, but for every person who's been stabbed in the back by the ones they trusted most. You are not alone. You never were. And trust me, the version of you that comes after the betrayal, that version is unstoppable.